We are live now, sir.
Hello, everyone. Namaste and good afternoon. This is Raju from Macmillan, welcoming all of you to this afternoon's webinar, organized by Macmillan Education and Fortis Healthcare. We are all aware that our country is going through a phase of a tragic healthcare crisis. As parents, we and our children have experienced worsening mental health conditions since the start of this pandemic. At Macmillan, we believe that with a little support, people can learn to build resilience and lead a better life. It is in this spirit that Macmillan Education India and Fortis National Mental Health Program, Fortis Healthcare, have curated a series of 4 webinars to help parents, teachers, and students to stay strong, overcoming the crisis situation. Today's webinar, themed Keeping Children Positive in Crisis, is for parents, and the presenter will be Dr. Samir Parekh. Dr. Samir Parekh is an eminent psychiatrist and has played a significant role in enhancing the image and rate of mental health across the country. He is the director of Department of Mental Health and Behavioral Science, Fortis National Mental Health Program. With an expressive communicative style and an in-depth knowledge of mental health in the Indian culture, Dr. Parekh has been a speaker at various national and international forums on mental health issues. He has also taken sessions on various health issues in various literature festivals in Delhi, Gurgaon, Chennai, Chandigarh, as well as 3 TEDx talks, India Today Conclave, amongst others. He has also played an active role to engage various industry bodies such as FICCI on issues related to mental health. Dr. Parekh has also authored several books. Together, we have also come out with a curriculum on health, a health curriculum, Macmillan as well as Fortis. Dr. Samir Parekh has also played a key role in enhancing the image of mental health in the country, and he is amongst the most well-known experts of the country on mental health issues. I would now like to welcome Dr. Samir Parekh to take us through the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. And I must first thank Macmillan. Macmillan, this is an important initiative. And I think all of us need to realize that all of us are stakeholders in this fight against COVID. And all of us need to contribute. So before we even start our conversation for today, I just want to put into perspective a very important aspect of the pandemic, that it is a pandemic and affects everybody. No person is untouched, which means all of us have to fight it together. We need to decide which line are we on, fighting against COVID, or are we increasing COVID's impact on us? And in that context, all of us become warriors. Something as basic as COVID appropriate behavior, helping out people, supporting people, creating awareness, bringing positivity, all of this is a part of our fight against COVID. And in that context, for Macmillan, thank you to reaching out to parents and teachers and students for this initiative and focusing on mental health, because I truly believe that our mental wellness has to be addressed during these tough times. And if we all stay together, positive, optimistic, resilient, we'll be able to fight and win this soon. So yes, stay strong Saturdays. We'll have this conversation throughout the month of May. And let's all stay strong, stay safe, stay positive, because together we can. And together we must stay in this fight and beat COVID hands down. So I think that was what I wanted to start with. Now let's look at the reality. I know most of you today are parents who are yourself going through so much, and I completely appreciate that. I mean, I know not just as a healthcare practitioner, but as an individual in the world, all of us in our own way are going through our own struggles. And that is the reality, that we are going through our struggles. Because we are going through our struggles, we need to understand there is no 100%. There is no 100% solution and 100% result possible for anybody. So, for example, when this happened a year and a half back, we all shifted to online teaching. Of course, online teaching cannot substitute for real time teaching, nor is it even remotely possible. But we did that because we needed to stimulate children, keep them engaged, keep their sense of positivity and normalcy, and ensure that their year is not wasted. So collectively, the education system worldwide shifted to online overnight virtually. Challenging, but we did that. And we did that because parents did an immense support, so many self changes. We all come from different backgrounds, from whether how was the network and the gadgets and the availability and so many other aspects. But we did that because there was a sense of positivity and a resilience that we had and we continue to have. So, which is very important. The other aspect is, and I've been saying this especially in the last few days, as we are in this amidst this wave of extreme distress and devastation, it's very human and natural to feel anxious. As a parent, as an individual, as a doctor, as any individual across each group, it is natural to feel anxiety. What we need to do as adults, as parents, is we should make sure that our anxiety does not reach our children. Some of it is going to because it's human, but that's what we need to control. So, to keep children positive in a crisis, first thing is let's accept we are in the middle of a crisis, an unprecedented crisis, which has affected the whole world. Right now, we are struggling a lot because the wave is around us. This is a time when we need to look at our resistance. So you look at the aspects of your resistance. Resistance number one, COVID appropriate behavior. Now, how do you ensure your children do COVID appropriate behavior? By you doing COVID appropriate behavior. Why is COVID appropriate behavior so important from a psychological point of view? You all know why it is important from a pandemic point of view, because it saves us. But when you do COVID appropriate behavior, what it also does is it gives you a sense of confidence that yes, I am taking care, that the virus will not reach me or my family. It brings a sense of positivity because that's all is in my control. The virus is not in my control. What's happening outside is not in my control. The whole oxygen and the medication and all this is not in my control. But my COVID appropriate behavior is in my control. And I think that's something we must understand, that that is in my control. So you need to be role models for your children on COVID appropriate behavior. Masks, sanitization, physical distancing, very important. Second aspect is that when you hear a news, you hear something, when your children are around, especially, don't discuss only the negative component of what is happening. Make sure that you also mention and talk about what is good happening. So, for example, when we get a data, X number of people positive or infected, you also need to focus on the bigger number of people who got cured, did not need hospitalization, did not need an intervention, did not need an oxygen. And I think that focus also is very important for yourself also. We are so much focused on the negative news and information that we've just stopped noticing the positive information which is also coming. Make sure you read both. In front of children, Your conversations should be inspirational, positive stories. So, what do you discuss with them? How, let's say, a young person helped senior citizens in their RWA, how doctors are working, how frontline workers were doing something, so that this becomes an inspirational experience for children. Whenever children have been asked to write essays about inspirational people, typically they have picked up and written from history. When they were not born, but they've read something and they write from that. As much as history is important, current inspiration is also very important. So children should be exposed to constantly about all the good things that people are doing, how the various people reach out to each other, how people are supporting each other. And these stories need to be also shared with children, because in this environment, the number of negative stories that is noticed is a lot. And we need to understand, irrespective of the age of the child, because of media exposure, because of online education and social media exposure, because of our conversations being around COVID, what it is doing is that collectively they just hear all this, which may make them anxious, may make them worried. Children don't typically speak out. So what happens is they may withdraw, they may get scared, it may affect their academics, if they affect their sleep, it may affect their appetite. They might start having a bit of irritable behavior, maybe even a bit aggressive. All of that can happen to them if they feel that the environment is not conducive and positive. So your goal as parents is first to be the role model of COVID appropriate behavior. Second, to ensure that when the negative information is coming, you also keep talking about and sharing about positive inspirational stories. We stand here collectively today. We stand here collectively today, all of us, where we have an opportunity to redefine ourselves. Several decades have gone and we've continued to lose out on values. We've become more egocentric in our own selves. This is an opportunity to understand whether it is taking care of the environment, taking care of elders, being together as in our neighborhood, taking care of extended families. This is an opportunity. And that's the role parents need to play. How do you do that? One, do not allow any kind of arguments, raised voice, any kind of differences, because we are all living in these cold, closed spaces. So everybody is due to everything that is happening. Be careful about your own interactions as adults. Second, in COVID appropriate behavior, I want to add one more behavior: social responsibility. Please don't hoard medications. Don't hoard oxygen. We don't want children to learn that, we kept something even though we didn't need it, because just in case if we need it. Because today, if we hoard something, it will affect somebody else's life somewhere else. And even though we might need it, let's say a few weeks down when the shortage would not be there, every time we keep something which is not being used, it's somebody else's right and life that has been affected. So we don't do that. Then we right now do not focus on academic excellence. I have been saying that for a while. I've had interactions with teachers and school leaders and lots of parents over the past several months. This is not the time to push for academic excellence. This is the time to push for well-being, positivity, learning from experience, responsibility, skills of life, relationships, connectedness, because those will be the pillars on which children will grow up. For the past several decades, I guess, what has gradually happened is that the connections of young people have become lesser and lesser. From an extended joint family or interdependent district, or from there, we become largely individualized. So the exposure of children to relatives, to their own people had also reduced. So you make sure that they keep talking to the extended family, especially their grandparents, uncles and aunts and cousins, so that they realize they're a part of a big team. They are not alone. And this will give them so much of positivity and so much of confidence. And that's something that's going to shape their future. Because today, as we look back on COVID, isn't it true that all of us have refound our old friends, restarted talking to our old cousins, schoolmates, our relationships have become better, especially with people where we stop being in touch with. All of those components have been an opportunity for us to redefine our relationships, redefine ourselves. And I think that's something that I really want to focus upon when you want to bring positivity on children. Positivity would come when they don't feel alone, they feel the environment is conducive, they feel that their well-being is addressed, they have a filter which helps them understand life in an optimistic lens, and they don't feel alone, they know that there are a lot of people around them. Add on to that, what you do is, and I've been telling this to students, more phone calls, more video calls, more messaging, talk more, spend more time talking to people. When your parents are free, talk to them. When your grandparents are free, talk to them. When you're not studying, talk to your friends. Keep talking, keep talking. Unmute yourself, all of us, unmute yourself. Because if you'll bottle it up, it'll become anxiety, it'll become negativity. You keep talking and sharing, you will see a remarkable difference in your own self. And that's something which I think is very, very important that all of us need to ensure that we do and encourage children to do. So this is not the time that you tell your child, don't talk to your friend. You say, hey, you've not talked to your friend for such a long time, go talk now. Because that peer support, which they are missing because schools are not going, that you will ensure is happening. Peer support. That will happen through communication. Yes, I know a lot of parents have concerns around gadgets and around digital. I've always had a digital concern with children. But right now, that concern is on a back seat for me. Right now, in the front seat, my most important thing is children should be happy, positive. This whole atmosphere of illness and grief and helplessness and horror should not impact their long-term approach to life. You don't want them to feel this as they grow up. You want them to feel in difficult times, these are my learnings, these are my skills, this is how I stayed positive, this is how all of us won. And 20 years down the lane, when your children have their children, the stories they tell your children, your grandchildren would be, once upon a time there was a pandemic, and this is what doctors did, this is what we did, this is what my parents did, this is how we used, did online classes, this is how we did it, even though we didn't go to school for a year, but our friendship continued to grow, and this is how we won it together. That's the learning that you want children to have. That's positive. Because in difficult times, your benchmark should be different. In difficult times, your approach should be different. Right now, no comparison, no pushing, no criticism. Unconditional love, more space. If they're throwing a tantrum, give space. That is probably because there is a frustration, boredom, feeling that you are closed, missing friends, missing outdoor, missing activities. So you do that. You also encourage children to learn new things. Yoga. This is a time that you can talk about it. You all do it. Bring some fun to it. Music, reading, writing. Pick up more hobbies. Lots of board games. Old family pictures. Show it to them. Talk about your own stories. Use stories to weave positivity around them. Keep telling them every time you hear something good. So what that does is constant stimulation is happening. Do some physical activity together. That could be an activity for all of you. A bit of dance movement, self-zumba of sorts for the family. So some board games, some games, and at the same time bringing a continuity of academics enough that the normalcy is felt, but the focus being on lifestyle, positivity, connectedness, which is both family and their own friends. This is the approach that you bring in as parents. I know what I'm saying, you know. I know it's also easy to say. I know we all struggle because work from home, fear of going out, fear of other things. There are so many things which are bothering us. And the constant fear of what if I, my family, somebody gets ill. It's a natural, normal fear. I cannot do anything if tomorrow I'm going to get the illness. What I can do is ensure I have kept myself and my family as safe as I could. I continue to be positive. I make sure my home atmosphere stays positive. We watch TV together, we have some fun together. When my child's having is or her or their time to study, I then go and do some work and something like that. We plan and sync our lives around. That's positive. So if I summarize before I start taking questions, on a Stay Strong Saturday by Macmillan and Fortis School Mental Health Program, some most basic things for all parents. If you are anxious, you are human, accept it. You also talk to your friends and family, don't bottle it up. But as a parent, you are a role model for positivity, COVID appropriate behavior, values. You're also responsible for the environment that is conducive. You're also a supplier of good moments. You're also a cushion to take the angst and the anxiety of children. You're also the facilitator who's going to ensure children stay in touch with everybody else. And you also use this opportunity to be the guide of your children where they can learn so many things from this difficult experience, because that's what life is. Sometimes it teaches you in easy ways, sometimes in very, very difficult ways. And right now, life is teaching us a lot of teachings. We have a lot of learning moments with a lot of difficulty. So yes, all of us, COVID appropriate behavior, positivity, values, connectedness, altruism. And together we must, because together we can. On that note, feel free to type in your questions, anything that you want to ask. I'll be taking all of your questions and answering them.
Hello, so we are checking the Facebook feeds. In the meantime, just to add up that, as parents, there are many people who are really worried that since children are not being able to go to the school, so they are really conscious about their emotional well-being. So is there anything that you'd like to add on to, relieve the parents of this particular worry?
We have to accept it. We just have to accept it. That right now, what is the priority? Right now, the priority is safety, mental wellness. What do? You understand the child wants to go out, but you can't get the child out. You understand that the child will have some frustrations. So you facilitate the child's interaction with their friends. That's what you should be doing. And just don't push for why have you not got up? Why don't you sleep on time? These things right now are secondary to giving some more space that there is a bit of relaxed, calm, peaceful cheerfulness in the home.
Yeah, Mridula, do we have any questions?
Yeah, there is a question, Raju. How to solve frustration issues as studies and other works go hand in hand together?
So, like I have said, anxiety is also natural, frustration is also natural, sometimes anger is also natural. But we facilitate release, optimally handle it. So, what do? If there is a frustration you see in your child, tell your child to take a break for a day or two, change routine, even if that means not doing work for a couple of days, that's okay. Focus on something that the child really, really likes, so that there is a re-stimulation of a different kind happening. But when the child is right now frustrated, what you don't do is also as important, which means don't push, don't scold, don't confront. That's something important, because otherwise it will start a vicious cycle. You say something, the child says something, and it almost becomes a vicious cycle of one thing into another, which I don't recommend at all.
Sir, there is one more question. How to help children in managing their time at home? Every time they can't keep on studying.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I don't want them to be studying the whole time. You, in fact, encourage children to pick up hobbies and different things. I have seen a lot of children, depending upon the age group, pick up newer things. People learning instruments, people reading about some history, some environment, and things like that. I've seen a lot of young students looking at doing some advocacy. They, if they are on social media, then they spread the right message, pick up a cause. You encourage children to pick up something which is creative, art, music, or something like that, because it gives a very nice pleasure, at the same time mastery, and a very good stimulation for overall stress coping as well. So you encourage children to sprinkle their day with different activities, rather than doing just long hours of studies. That will be a put them under a lot of pressure, because monotony and not getting the breaks is not healthy for them.
Thank you, sir. There is a very interesting question coming up. In a hope of the hoping against hope something, when school reopens, some kids may have anxiety of physical interaction since they have spent 2 years online. Any thoughts on how to deal with this if
So
it happens?
my take on this is, lots of people have asked me this. Uh, Let me answer this question as it comes to me. I'm absolutely certain that when the right time comes, when we are out of this entire wave, this phase, this unprecedented crisis, we will all want to go out. Please don't allow yourself to believe that your children would be any different. The playgrounds are calling, the classrooms are calling, the the canteen of the school is calling, the little bit of naughty fun with friends in school is calling. It'll just take them a switch and it'll be fine. The only difference is children where home atmosphere has been more stressful, or where anxiety was, let's say, handled not in the best manner, they may be more anxious. But we also need to understand, and let's all hope and pray together, that we truly have this question in a now situation and not sometime in the future situation. No, may the wave end in the next few seconds, and may this all go away in the next few seconds, and maybe think about going to school within, you know like tomorrow. I mean, that optimism is what we need to have right now. Is not to have a fear of a world when COVID is not there. Right now is to hope and pray and be optimistic that that world without COVID should come like now.
Thank you, sir. There is a very sentimental question by Desmond, sir. How to help children who have lost parents due to COVID?
It's a difficult question to answer. There is no how that anybody can tell anyone on how to deal with grief, how to deal with loss. It's intense, it's personal, it's difficult. There are no tips, there is no advice. There are no words also which during the time of grief can, to be honest, take the grief away or heal the grief instantly. I don't think that's there. Um, I have always believed in families. I've always believed that our strength is in a collective. And the only strength in difficult times that actually works is having people around. is having support systems around which are genuine in their affection, in their care, in their commitment. And I think that's the only thing. Yes, time does what time does, but there can't be any other way to look at it. We all need to learn from this phase, get more closer with people where we've distanced ourselves in the daily runarounds of our life over the past several years. People who were always ours, but we just stopped having time for them, and that's how distances happened. So the support system during a loss are the key aspect.
Thank you, sir. There is a question by a teacher or maybe a mother. She's saying that children are putting on a lot of weight because they are not also being allowed to go out. How to curb that?
So they are not allowed to go out needs to be rephrased for our own selves. We will not go out. We will not go out. Children will not go out. Nobody will go out. We will stay indoors unless there is some absolute situation which can't be avoided, because that's the one way to break the chain and be safe. That's one aspect. Having said that, like I said earlier, I would do a lot of physical activity at home. Some together physical activities. It could be yoga, some dance movements, some Zumba, some running around, jumping around. Encourage children to release their physical energy, and also involve children in a little bit of ghar ka kaam that they can also be a part of, and learn that they have those responsibilities. But that's what we'll do. And like I said, right now in these difficult times, I'll still look at my priorities, and my priority is staying safe, staying positive. We will have some aspects of our life that we'll have to let go right now, in terms of discipline, in terms of rules and regulations, including academics. Right now, we need to focus on what's absolutely important in this moment in time.
Thank you, sir. There is another question. Students of standard 10th prepared for exams and now the exams have got cancelled. Top notchers are frustrated that they did not get the platform to prove their mettle. How to handle this?
Yes, so I was talking to a lot of students recently, and exams have their own place in our life. But I also believe that we have collectively, as adult society, made exams a bigger deal than what they are. Not to say that they're not important, they have a place in our life, no doubt about that. What I would talk to children of grade 10, 12 is, one, it continues to be a level playing field. It's not that you as an individual did not get the chance. Entire batch across the country, and several countries in fact, did not do that. So it's not that you've lost out on something. But right now, in the phase that we were, 10 grade students would be able to understand that. You may feel a disappointment that you couldn't perform this time. Let that disappointment kindle the fire within, that the next time around, you'll go 2 notches up. That's how you shape your success. Pick up a difficulty, let it motivate you even more for the next time around. And even for the grade 12 students, and I was asked this question, and I'm presuming one of you would be asking this, so I'll answer this straight away. There are a lot of parents have come to me saying that, my 12th class student is saying that they are not able to now find the motivation, because what if the exam gets postponed again? And my tip is very clear. You presume the exam is on, let's say, June 1, assuming that June 1 is the announcement going to happen. If it gets postponed, fine, you look at preparing for the next announcement, or you take it. But that's the only way, because nothing else is in your control. What's in your control is your studying. You study as though the exam's coming in June. And let's just fundamentally believe in that and approach it. If it changes, we'll adapt accordingly. But you don't stop putting in your effort, and don't let an external situation affect your intrinsic motivation, which lies within you.
Great, sir. Thank you. So another question Parents say that we are all working from home and both are busy, and how to tackle the children during that time. It's difficult to tackle them to manage time with them.
Two answers to this. I have been speaking to a lot of organizations as well over the last year, and I've been speaking about this, that it's very important that all organizations bring a kind of flexibility in the work from home situation, because different people and parents have different home needs, and some flexibility and support from organization would also be needed, because everything can't be done by the parent by themselves. Besides that, what you should do is, like I said earlier, sync it in, which basically means sync all your timings. All of you are getting free at same time to spend time together. When you are busy, let your children, give them some things to do. It would be on the lines of academics. It will be on the lines of some peer interaction. It could be on the lines of hobby. Distribute their day, give them tasks, but just don't keep checking on them that have you done this or not. So there is no nagging that they perceive. And they also feel a sense of freedom that they have this flexibility to pass their time. And yes, these are difficult situations. There won't be an exact solution to this. And I'm sure you'll be able to find in this space. Just don't be self-critical as a parent. Don't blame your own self. It's none of us have done this. It's out there. We just now have to fight it. And that's the approach we need to have. And like I said at the start, there is no 100% here. If we float above and maintain ourselves, stay safe, stay positive, get on the other side of COVID, we've done a remarkable job. That's the approach we need to have.
So three or four questions are, I'm just combining all of them together. The fear for corona can be seen in the kids, no doubt how old they are. They feel insecure as they find anyone in the family with even slightest symptoms. How to interact and how to keep on motivating them.
One, it is natural. Two, it is also going to be as to how calm you are around it. If you are calm when this is happening, children will be a lot better placed. You maintain your calm, they'll learn from your calmness, your mindfulness, how you are approaching it. But yes, give them the space to feel anxiety as well, because it's an anxiety provoking situation. It's very human. Children would also go through those struggles and learn a few things here and there from it as well.
Thank you, sir. So on one side, but we see that class 10th exams have been postponed. There is a lot of anxiety to be seen in class 12 students. How to tackle that? There is so
Like I
much of
just,
uncertainty in their mind.
yeah, so like I just mentioned, class 12 students should prepare as the exams are coming in June. If they get delayed again, then you prepare according to the next date. Preparing is in your control, which is internal. When does the exam happen is not in your control. In fact, it's in nobody's control because it's external. Life is about accepting external situations and working maximum with internal abilities. That's a skill to path to success.
So there is a question by Alok Kumar. He says that my daughter is in 7th standard and don't want to study for an hour in a day. We both are working and have less time to spend with her. She used whole day with her tab and spent time on playing games and chatting in Discord app. If we tell her to study, then she gets angry and start arguments and started throwing tantrums.
Uh, in a non-COVID situation, I would have probably answered this question in a very different manner. But in a situation where we are right now, I'd much rather have your child be happy. Even if your child studies a bit less, I'll take it, to be honest. I would just want the child to feel safe, comfortable, not feel disturbed. I try and keep talking to the child um, to try and keep up the pace with whatever the school's teaching, but I won't do more than that. And I won't make this into a habit that the child feels nagged, because my focus is still going to be on well-being.
So I think most of the questions have been answered.
Okay, so as we start winding this up, my final comments for all of you. Stay strong, stay positive, stay connected. Difficult situation, all of us are in it together, and that's where we need to get our strength from. Be role models of positivity, support to each other. Let children learn that in difficult times, people came together, people went out of the way to help each other, so that the future is a value based, connected, meaningful experience for our children. So, yes, I'll see you all again next Saturday. Stay strong.
Thank you, Dr. Parikh, for such a wonderful session. I'm sure that all those who have joined this webinar through the social media platform of Macmillan Education and Fortis Healthcare are immensely benefited. We all will be looking forward to your next session, sir, on the coming Saturday. Dear parents, I'm sure that you had a lot to take away from today's session on how to keep our children positive in crisis. Thank you very much for joining this webinar. Do provide your feedback and comments on this session. Please take all precautions and stay safe. Wishing all of you a happy weekend. Here's Raju and Mridula signing off from the session. Thank you and bye.